what happened was I was living in Philly from 2006 to 2011, and in 2010, SNCC had a 50th anniversary. I was working with Asian Americans United, this amazing, awesome grassroots righteous group in Philly that Moss is on the board of. So a bunch of us said, let's go to the reunion because this is going to be amazing. And we all went, and Tamio, of course, came out for it. So I was so lucky to be there with the two of them and them reuniting with all their old friends. I knew almost nothing about, I mean, we kind of know this vague thing around civil rights movement and rights for Black voters and some of the violence and things, sitting at the restaurant counters and stuff. But this was a whole nother level of education. So when we went to the reunion, we get there and there's all of these very famous people, and you can feel the energy and you can start to see who the leaders of from the past were, who are still leaders now, or were at the time too. And Tommy was like a rock star there. He's one of the SNCC photographers. So hearing about this history and then seeing all these amazing leaders and going to these different panel discussions where they talked about, you know, what had happened, and also the children of a lot of those leaders are also still leaders, and hearing what young people were doing now, it was amazing. But also just suddenly seeing like everybody knew who Tamio was, that in this movement he was a leader too. That was totally new to me. I had not seen him as that person, because also even back here when Tamio was involved in the Japanese Canadian community in that way where he was doing all these things, that was before my time. So I hadn't really seen him in that. And then we went to this incredible event, and I learned so much about the civil rights movement, but also how the Asian American and then the Asian Canadian movement was connected to that movement, how that was sort of the start of all this way of organizing and fighting for rights, and this sort of awareness around identity, race, and LGBTQ, even all these different movements kind of came out of that whole civil rights movement, and this sort of trajectory from there to Powell Street Festival, which I didn't have any idea about before. I kind of knew, like I knew Asian American, Asian Canadians, you know, that was part of the political movement and that was at the root of it, but that was this longer history, these bigger ideas that was really eye-opening to me. So when I saw him in this amazing role and was learning all this, it really made me think. When I came back to Vancouver after living in Philly, I had become even more politicized by being in Philly and being involved in organizing there. And so when I came back to Vancouver, I was like, I want to be more involved in organizing here. And for me, it made so much sense to be part of the Downtown East Side, the way the Powell Street Festival is a part of the Downtown East Side. And we'd been talking about it for a long time, even from before I went to Philly, because we started the Advocacy and Outreach Committee. And we talked about how we want to be more a part of the neighborhood. And it's taken, you know, many years to evolve, and it continues to evolve, and we're always learning. But that really, seeing all of that history and then being part of the organizing in Philly and then coming back, because all of that was connected.